We're going to call to order the regular meeting for the Horry County Solid Waste Authority, Tuesday, January the 22nd, 2019. We'll have invocation by Mr. Michael Campbell and the Pledge of Allegiance by Norfleet Jones.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the love and the prosperity that you have heaped upon us. We thank you for the healings and the blessings. Continue to be with us and lead and guide us in our decision-making process here today. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I need to get an approval of the agenda, please.
So move.
Properly moved in second. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, and the agenda is approved. We also need to get the approval of the minutes for the regular meetings for December 13th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any questions? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, and the regular meeting has been accepted. Also, I need to get approval for the January 8th, 2019 board workshop.
So moved.
It's been properly moved in second. Any questions?
Just
All
like to
those-
state, outstanding job on this minutes. That was a meeting where the information was extremely important, and Cecil did a marvelous job on this.
Very good, thank you. Anything else? Any other discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, and the motion has been carried. We have no request for public input, so we'll move down to the department reports and updates. Recycling program, corporate affairs. Am I not talking in the mic? I'm a little hoarse today. I'll get closer.
Yours is a little far away.
All right, I got you. Keep
Good
me
af-
straight.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My report begins on page 48. I'm going to begin with just a reminder, and I believe everyone may have completed their statement of economic interest for this year. But in case you had not, just a reminder that this must be submitted to the State Ethics Commission no later than March 30th, 2019. If you need assistance with completing this information, please see Nanette Powell.
I think I've been informed that everybody is good to go. Everybody's completed.
Good,
So-
wonderful. Next, I want to announce our 2018 Pop Art Contest winner. The creation, our pop art, was created by Miss Anna Baker. She is a 7th grader at Blackwater Middle School. Her artwork is at the front of the room next to the state flag. She entitled it Tears from Our Mother Earth, and it's a piece of artwork with clouds, with tears, with the earth, with tears falling from the earth, just encouraging people to recycle their plastic. Anna worked along with two of her classmates, Miss Destiny Floyd and Paris Robbins. They were recognized before Christmas, that Thursday before Christmas. We went out and did the presentation. Anna received a plaque as well as a electronic reading device, and her two associates also received recycling content gift bags. So we were excited about awarding that to her. She couldn't come today because she's just getting out of school, so, but she sent her thanks. Next, our Caught Green-Handed recipient for the month of December. We went out to the Duford Recycling Center, and if you haven't been to Duford before, it's a lovely community. You should take a trip. But while there, we met Mr. Bobby Strickland and caught him in the act of recycling. He was very surprised and very thankful for being recognized for his efforts. Last on my list of things to review, upcoming conference information was included in your board packet, and I also left a listing at your place setting this afternoon. I believe Chairman Hughes will further discuss this during roundtable discussion. So we'll get a little bit more into detail then. I did want to just let you know about one upcoming event that's not listed, and that's the home show, the annual home show that's held at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. It's going to be held on February 8th through the 10th. If any board members would like to attend, please let me know, and I can get you a pass to attend. Unless you have any questions, that's all I have.
I've only got one question. Where's the line for me to get your signature? Because I saw you on television with the singer, whatever else, and I figured now that you got TV fame, that probably people are lining up for your autograph.
No, they're not.
They're not-
No,
Okay.
sir, they're not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Finance and Administration?
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Financial reports begin on page 58. We are through 6 months of our budget year, and of course, we should be at around 50% of budget. As you can see, I'm looking in the middle of the page, our solid waste is running a good bit above budget at 55.94% of budget, with mixed construction just slightly over budget at 51% of budget, and of course, our yard waste also well above at 54.95% of budget. As you can see, our tipping fees as compared to last year, we're running at an increase of about 10%, a little over 10% of an increase over last year. I do say that most of that probably has to do with the material we received from the storm, but at any rate, we are, like I said, running well above budget, which is great. As you can see, our recyclable sales have fallen below budget at 40.65% of budget. And like I said, and I'm sure Mike will kind of get into with you on some of the prices on the recyclables. Our C&D processing facility, as you can see, revenue year to date is $225,665.44, with our expenses being $301,579.70, and we saved a little over 31 days of landfill airspace. So just in 6 months, we've managed to save over 31 days. Our materials recycling facility with the collection and hauling program, revenue year to date is $2,424,200.41, with our expenses being $2,690,855.35. And they've saved a little over 34 days of landfill airspace in 6 months. So both of those programs doing what we would like to see them do, saving the landfill airspace. Over on page 60, I'd like to just take a quick look at the income statement. As you can see, current month, we had revenue over expenses of $337,145.06. And year to date, we have revenue over expenses of $2,213,255.04. As you can see, our revenue is running at a little over 52% of budget, which is great. We continue to stay well above budget, with our expenses being well below at only 44% of budget. So again, like I said, I try to continue to commend staff. They're continuing to watch their expenses, buying only what is necessary and needed, holding things where needed, so they're doing a great job of monitoring their expenses every month. I'm going to jump over to the MRF reports, which are on page 72. Our average price for the month was $125.13, which is up just a little bit from last month. Last month it was at $116.59. So far for the year, like I said, we haven't seen any increase much in those prices. We've averaged, as you can see, $134.75 year to date on those prices. The highest we've seen, I think, was at $150 one month. But like I said, those prices have maintained relatively low averages. For the month, you can see the total incoming tonnage was 4,324.62 tons. That's the Solid Waste Authority brought in 1,934.99 tons, and we received 2,389.63 tons from Charleston. As you can see, the revenue from the material that we sold was $191.74. We did have a cost share with Charleston. They owed us $35,913.61, and that has to do with the average price being below the market value of $165. So the total revenue for the month was $336,105.35, with our expenses being $419,501.58. So we did see a deficit this month of $83,396.23. But as you can see, year-to-date, the MRF revenue is $2,023,547.43, and the expenses are $1,922,096.07. So we're still seeing revenue over expenses of $101,451.36. Any questions?
I don't have any. Any questions? Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Operations?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I'll show you our video for the MRF. Chris Calhoun is our air pilot out there. He pilots our drone and takes good pictures of it with us. And so I want to give you all an update where we at on the landfill. Right in this area is the C&D hill that you're seeing here. So this is where we're filling in for the Piggyback 2 construction. We're done in this area, and we're building up here to get over to this road right here. Our seagulls are back. It's winter time. We've got a good many of them out there right now. I remember our office is back over here, so we'll be filling this whole area in right here. And then the Piggyback 2 will come up through here. This is our MSW. We're moving pretty quick on it. If you remember last time, we haven't got this area right in here filled up. So we finished filling this area in here since the last board meeting, and we're back over in this area here fixing to start, and we're pushing material another line up through here. So we're finishing up with all this area right in here now. We're covering it up, and then you can see all the equipment stuff working in this area here will be moving back up and going back up to here. And we're going from here back over to this way, so we'll be filling in sections all the way across. We get done there, we'll come back and do the same thing and go back again. So we're working in that area. See, so if you want to move, that's it right there. You can see where we're working there going back up. And today we're almost back up to the front right here. So we just about got that second line in. Okay. So Chris does a good job with the drone. Gets good pictures. Talk a little bit about the MRF. We took in almost 185 more tons this month in December than we did in December of last year. So we're a little bit above on that area. As you know, we're currently winding down with the MRF, trying to get ready for our new, it's going to be a whole new process for us when Charleston goes away at the end of next week. We will have notified all of the temp. We have notified all of the temp agencies that we will not be using their manpower anymore. We have notified the employees, and we also notified which labor company we'll keep. We'll be going back with the labor company that we had before. Some of those employees have been with us longer than 15 years, so we'll be going back there. February will be a transition month. It'll be a month in which we'll do some cleaning up and getting the MRF back to a good, clean condition and working on the outside and getting everything done. But after February, we think we'll be back on track with where we need to be as far as the MRF itself. And the rejects, we will be at a zero balance or close to by the end of the month. It's hard to get it down to exactly zero. We may ship a little bit more back to Charleston than we anticipated, than we should, but we're going to try to get it just as close to that zero as we possibly can. So there'll be no from the Charleston agreement, be no waste gone into Horry County's landfill as a result of that contract.
Mike, explain to them if we send a little bit more back than we should, what happens?
Yeah, so our goal is, staff's goal is to send, possibly send a little bit more back than we should, so that nobody can't say we put anything from Charleston in our landfill. What we will have to do is pay for the transportation costs and the tonnage for Charleston. I just thought it'd be a better situation if we took a little bit more back than than to have some put in our landfill, and then somebody judges for that. So, of course, it'd be cheaper for it to go here, but you know, it's $66 a ton and $425 a load. So, yes, ma'am.
Can we send them electronic?
I wish I could. There's a bunch of. All right, that's about all it with the MRF. Collection and hauling, things are going well. We're getting a lot of cardboard off that route. We hope to try to increase that route over the next few months. So we definitely need to, with Charleston gone, need to try to get all the recyclables we can into the MRF to make it as efficiently as we can. Our driver of the month was from the Surfside, town of Surfside Beach. The employees chose Neil Johnson for that. He has a driving history of 33 years, and he's married with one child. And that's it, unless anybody's got any questions.
What about the prices? They're still down?
Prices are pretty much consistent. What we have seen, I am holding aluminum.
Okay.
I have 3 loads of aluminum. I did sell 1 load this month because the price went from $900 to $1,200, so I went ahead and sold a load. But you got to realize, you know, we were getting about $1,700 a ton at one time this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I still got some material on site that I'm holding on to that will be sold in the month of February. So we'll definitely prices, and I don't see any price change in the prices till about March, and you should see a tick up a little bit in March and April. It's just the way the market typically runs. And with China starting to take orders again, it's going to change the market a little bit.
When does our trash pick up at the beach season? When do we usually start seeing tourist trash and?
Usually, you're talking about our recyclables increasing and trash picking up, usually around March. You'll see it start taking, you'll see the yard waste increase because you're landscaping, everybody's getting their yards done. The garbage will start ticking up in March and April, and it really gets high about May and June, and that's when we increase our hours at operating at the landfill.
Okay, any other questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Danny?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wish I had some good news on the management plan. On page 91, you can see a letter that Chairman sent to County Council on December the 7th, inviting people out if they had questions to contact us. And we didn't get any response. On page 92, we have put the schedule of the I&R committee, and Ms. Al Allen is the chairman, and Cam Crawford, Bill Howard, and Paul Prince is on that committee, and they will meet February the 12th, the first meeting. I talked to Steve yesterday afternoon, and at this point in time, they haven't done anything on that agenda. So I don't know if there'll be anything on their first agenda other than talking about the process and how they're going to handle things. Page 93 is a letter that the chairman sent to Mr. Johnny Gardner, chairman of county council. And I think the main thing is we were requesting that we go ahead and put the management plan on the regular council agenda, since it's already been to INR one time. It was sent out, and you can see the timeline in the middle of the page. We approved it by resolution at the end of August. And it's gonna be the end of January pretty quick. They meet February the 12th. That'll be just about another half a month, so I don't know. I don't know if we need to take the approach that we're just gonna proceed on in the 2015 plan. Because when Mr. Worley asked in the council meeting on October the 16th, he wanted to know if it was time sensitive. And in my mind, it was gonna be 30 days, and it wasn't, but we're getting into 5-6 months now, and I think as you see, the landfill, especially C&D, is filling. So we got to make our mind up what we're gonna do with the plan or what they're gonna do. But right now, we don't have any. I feel it lost on where we are on it.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. I did send out a letter on December 7th asking for concerns, inviting them out to see what we were doing. That's been a month ago. Nobody seems to have any concerns, and we heard nothing back from the chairman of the county council. I realize that it's a new council coming in, and they got new kinds of, it'll be different, and they're probably trying to get their own feet on the ground. I don't know whether that was why they didn't come back. They're trying to get him up to speed, trying to get Orton up to speed. I did talk to him at least 3 times and gave him a personal invitation to come out or even sit down and talk on the phone, which he, seemed to be a little sporadic and had to go and was busy and all of this kind of stuff. So I'm a little concerned about where their concerns are. I guess my concern is a little bit bigger than what I'm thinking their concerns are. But I don't want to jump the gun, but we do have to, at some point in time, make a decision whether or not we're going to go with the old plan or whether or not we're going to continue to wait and see what they do with this plan. At some point in time, before the next county meeting, I probably will ask Danny and myself, I'll probably go and try to meet with Mr. Gardner personally, rather than sending him a letter. I like to look in his eyes. I've sent him 2. This time I need to have him sit down face to face and tell me what's going on. I'm trying to give him some leadway so he can get in, get his feet. January should be enough time for that. I think they're trying to elect a vice chair tonight. I did see on the news where they're having some problems with some folk that's wanting to try to keep some property from being rezoned. So I don't know where that kicked us to the back of the pot. I know they have some other problems that they're dealing with, and so I like to give them the benefit of the doubt. Say we waited to see at least a month, and then if we don't hear anything prior to that, then I'm going to try to meet with him to see if we can get any kind of answer from that. Yes, Sam.
I can meet with Al pretty much about any time and talk with him. I mean, me and him just ate breakfast yesterday morning, so
I mean, find any information we can get.
see if I can get some information. for
Yeah,
you.
any information we can get. I guess my concern is the secrecy. I mean, send me back and just say, look, we don't have time to put it on the agenda, or just tell me what you're trying to do, whether you have concerns. If you have some concerns, then he needs to come out and sit down and talk to us. Now, everybody I've talked to, I talked to Johnny Vaught, that's been 3 months ago, when it first came out of R&I. I called him. We don't have any problems. We don't have any concerns. It's okay. But we never get any action on it. Then when it comes up to county council, well, we got to table it. You know, we've got somebody going out, collecting more information. We want to hear from their report. Well, you're going to pay somebody to come in and do a report, and 6 months later, you haven't gotten the results? It's not washing for me.
Yeah.
Okay? It's something is not right in the mix. And so if you can talk to him, then fine. Try to get some information. But I don't know what's going to happen at the meeting today. They can always amend the meeting to do whatever they want to do. So, but if we don't get any reactions from today, I plan to try to meet with Mr. Gardner the first part of February, find out what's going on. And any information you can get would be helpful for us.
Mr. Chairman, you made a statement about some rezoning tonight. When I took the plan to Myrtle Beach for approval, my last statement to him was, we have one objective here, and that's the garbage and that's the trash. We don't have to look at rezoning, and we don't have to look at police pay and roads and who's getting annexed and all those type things. We have one objective, and we still do. But from the time we approved this thing, August the 27th, 2018, to January the 22nd, when is the day, and you can put no beside January the 22nd under January the 10th, and we still don't know what they want and where they want to go. So we'll just.
We also have a mandate.
Well, yeah,
Because of
and
flow
we,
control, we take in garbage every day.
right.
And we haven't, even extraordinary conditions we've had in the last few months, we've taken the trash.
Well,
And they ought to acknowledge the
Yeah.
fact that we've made an extra effort.
Well, I think we did a yeoman job during the flood. They came out, they built a road. We didn't miss a beat. We kept rolling. We kept doing what we had to do. And like
And
that,
that's what sticks in my craws, after that extra
Yeah.
effort to get this attitude is
and
really
so
discomforting.
I just don't understand, when you tell me you have a concern, and that's like going to the doctor and he tells you something's wrong with you, and you say, okay, and you say, well, I'm concerned, but you never check it out. I don't know how concerned you are, unless you just don't care that you're gonna drop dead down the street. So I'm not sure what the concerns are. And one concern was about public input, and that was a whole different ballgame. But we have public input, and like I said to all county councilmen, I mean, it's, when you say public, they're part of the public. If they want to come and listen, I mean, they have the opportunity to come. They was invited, when we reviewed the plan. I think one or two of them may have showed up. I don't even remember.
Did at the outset have a good,
And not only that, we had, even before we started all this, we had, I guess it's that group that Pam, we suggested to come out and say whatever they had to say. They had questions, we answered those questions, and we still have a list of all the questions they had and the answers we gave them. So all that information is here for county council review. I mean, we're not trying to hide anything. I mean, if you send somebody a letter and invite them to your house, that means you've cleaned it. Okay, you don't usually invite somebody to your house without cleaning it. So we're not trying to hide anything, come on out. I mean, you can see the seagulls, there's probably not a whole lot we can do with them, but, so you've got an open door policy, and that's for any of them. We send it to everyone, and some of them I've talked to personally and invited them. And if you tell me you got a concern, and you have an opportunity to come out and look and see and touch and feel, and you never show up, then my question is, how real is your concern?
When I was chair a few years ago, some of the council talked with me about wanting to know what we were doing as far as expanding and looking on forward, because the growth had started again. And they were very concerned about us looking to the future and what was going to happen. After being on the 2040 committee, and we found over 60-some thousand permits have been issued, and it just continues. And that wasn't even in their original numbers on what it was. And I think our growth is going to continue at those levels, that as long as it takes 8 to 10 years to get permitting done, if you don't continuously do that, and that's in our bylaws that we're supposed to do that, being an environmentalist and wanted them to come and see what we were doing as well as the public, being a public advocate for the last 30 years, I think we need to have as much public input as possible, and we've tried to do that. Council will do that. We discussed it with them before we did the tarps. We discussed it with them before we did the plastic bags and before we did the food. And we're not going to do anything without discussing it with them and seeing where they are, as well as in that 3-year plan, private industry and the League of Cities. So that isn't going to happen. There's always going to be public input, and I think we're always going to run everything by county council, because they're responsible just like we are, and we should be doing that. So I am at a loss, because, don't really know what that is, but we do need to continue looking to the future. We need to continue expanding responsibly and in accordance with our bylaws and working with them, and frankly, I think that's all we want to do.
Well, I think my concerns even goes deeper than that. As a citizen of Horry County, they have a responsibility as to the county as a whole. Those folk that are talking about rezoning and fighting that rezoning today are fighting because they're talking about putting almost 1,000, 250 homes and then 250 complexes. If you're sitting on county council, if you're sitting here around this table, you're talking about trash. Not only are you talking about vehicles, you're talking about trash. And if you're talking about a family of 3 or 4, you calculate it. Where's it gonna go? Who's gonna manage it?
Right.
And that's just one subdivision.
Our C&D volume is more reliable than building permits on building activity in
Yeah.
this county.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you've got to, while I understand you may have problems, you're gonna look from a county-wide, and that's just one section of the county. They're building all over this place, and if you're not sitting here thinking about what's gonna happen to all this trash that these people are putting together, then you're not doing a service to the county.
Yeah. It's got to be done. We have to do it. On 905, they're looking at a 3,000 unit division, 2,800 in one
Yeah,
place,
I'm going to
1,000.
Florida after this year, because they're gonna run my cow. I mean, cows gonna be eating plaster after a
Yeah.
while if I don't stop picking.
Right.
Because I got to pick it up
Yeah.
out the pasture, I thought I had a hailstorm out there the other day.
And not only are we going to have to discuss the 3-year plan, but I think council and I&R and their regular meetings, and as I have told them for the last 2 years, we're going to have a serious discussion about mandating plastics, just like Charleston has and Mount Pleasant has, and a lot of other states. We're going to have with council we need to get past this, because we're past due having a serious discussion with county council.
And their concern for
About
3 years has
plastics.
been Charleston, and that's gone away.
Yeah, that's gone away.
That's done.
Yeah.
And we need to get through with this so we can have some serious discussions about what we're going to be doing.
Well, it pretty much made me disgusted when we went to that meeting and he tried to blast us like he did.
Well, I
I
thought that was
wanted to
his.
come out of my chair because he was really ignorant on the situation.
Well, that's the problem.
That was grandstanding.
And, you know, you come out of the corner with information that's totally incorrect. And you got public that's not only, they're watching you and listening at you. If you're gonna give information, give the right information. You know, again, it just does, I can't add it up. I don't know what's going on. And so we're gonna give it today, we're gonna give it and see what happens to the end of the month. And then we're gonna go talk to him. You know, if he runs from me then we'll know. We'll send the sheriff at him. I'll go down to his office and tell him I need a lawyer and see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody works the home show, you might as well get ready for the main question that you will hear and hear and hear from the snowbirds, from the people that just moved here. Why don't you mandate recycling? So you might as well get ready for that. So,
Well, I can tell you, I visited my niece at Christmas in Gainesville, Florida. She just put on her Facebook where Gainesville has just banned plastic bags and styrofoam, anything that's one-use plastics. And I mean, every other week you're hearing of someone doing that, and they're doing it because they have to, not because they want to, not because they want to inconvenience anybody or to cause a problem, but because we have to. The man that had invented something to go get the plastics out of the ocean, there are 2 islands as big as Texas out there that they're trying to clean up. Where are they going to put it when they get it? What are you going to do with it when you pick it up? And they're the only 2. There's 6 or 7
Oh, yeah.
out there. And at some point, if you don't stop making it and stop processing it, what's the use in picking it up? Well, there's just got to be some serious,
And we're a coastal county.
Yeah.
Ripper.
Carl?
With the relationship that you've got with Johnny Vaught as a former faculty member and Danny as a former administrator for county, do you think there'd be any benefit in calling Johnny saying he doesn't have a problem with our plan? Is ask him to amend tonight's agenda and put it on and just railroad through?
What's going on there, what I've read about, their plate's full, and I don't know what that will do.
Okay.
I guess we'll just see what comes up at INR, and if it's a stalemate, then we just need to go back, stay with the 2015 plan, and move on. We can do what we want to do under the 2015 plan. There's been a lot of work and time by the TAC committee, and everybody was represented. We had all kind of meetings. And just move on the 2015 plan.
I agree, yeah.
And here's the thing, Carl. You know, Johnny and I go way back. You know, we played football together, so, you know. But I'm not in the habit, I've called him once.
Okay.
He said he didn't have any concerns.
And he said that in INR.
He said that in
Yeah,
INR.
and that's why I thought that
So
that he might.
what am I gonna ask him? Here's what I would, if he didn't have any concerns, it wasn't on the agenda, and he really had a concern for us, then he could offer an emotion, whether it was, you know, passed or not. He could step forward and do that, because he knows Pam's talked to him, Danny's talked to him, I talked to him. So he keeps saying that he doesn't have any concerns and that it's okay, but when we get in a meeting and he sees that it's not coming to fruition, he could step up and say, I want to make a motion that we review the solid waste management plan.
Okay,
So I don't know what else to say to him,
yeah.
other than tell him that. But he should already know that.
Yeah, just basically say, well, in as much as you agree with in the past,
Yeah.
you know, just put it on that we move it through.
Because we keep getting different signals.
Yeah.
You know, they'll say one time, oh, yeah, it's going to be on the agenda. Yeah, we're going to do it. And then we look, there's nothing there.
In your letter requested to be
I mean,
put on the
and I'm
record.
really,
Yeah.
you know, offended, because even if you weren't going to put it on there, you could at least you're talking about transparency, and this is what I have a problem, and I get, and that's why I don't go to these kind of council meetings, because I don't want to get locked up. You'll have to come get me, because the thing is, I'll be throwing eggs and all that other kind of good stuff. Have the decency, if you're going to be a professional, have the decency to either call and say, look, we're not going to put it on the agenda. You don't have to give me an explanation. I didn't ask you to give me an explanation. I just asked you to put it on there. Call and say, no, it's not going to be on the agenda. Now, whatever your reasons are, those are your reasons. But at least be professional enough to handle. And I would think that the people of Horry County who are watching these things and watching these people who are supposed to be professionals, and these are the people that you're entrusting your livelihood to, I would certainly have some questions about what they're doing when they're in chambers or when they come, because they don't even have the professional or courtesy enough
Courtesy
to
is the
respond.
word, Mike. Mike, the word is
That's
courtesy,
crazy.
yes, uh-huh.
I mean, I have a real problem with that.
The other thing that bothers me is the private company that was paid to work with the county and city employees to come up with this plan, we're paying.
Yeah.
And we paid them and an engineer to be there to answer their concerns twice. To me, we were put in the position that we had to waste money, and I really don't like that
Maybe we should
at
send
all.
a bill.
If it was my private business, I would. But seriously, there is no reason for us to expend money for this kind of thing, and then these things happen. I don't like that.
Anyway, we rode that horse.
Yep. We primed up for Mike now.
So, Mike,
Step right
I'm
up.
sorry you gotta come behind all of that.
Step right
Come on, come on with what you got.
Give it your best shot.
Maybe y'all talked out.
Don't think so.
This is up here to present old business after the workshop on the MRF upgrade and retrofit. I'm proud of our staff. We've beat this thing to, it sounds like a dead horse. You don't hear much out of it. We beat it to death, looked at it, reviewed it, talked about it, and as a team come up with a recommendation for our board tonight to allow us to proceed with doing the MRF. As you can see, I don't know the page number on your thing, but I did try to answer all the questions that the chairman gave me. If any of y'all got any questions on those, I'll be glad to try to further anything.
97.
90,
Yeah.
99.
But the workshop comments or questions that came up, we tried to answer them. On those, and the one that that was basically, I think the one that was interested in all of them, if you'll look at the last page of this section, which has some tonnage numbers and workers and things like that on it. I don't know what page it is. Right there, where your fingers at?
101.
Okay, page 101 is what it'll be. So I put together some ROI numbers just looking at the labor. Now, this did not take into account any maintenance that we may save on or other things, better paper, better products. It didn't take into account that. It just took the labor. So how long would it take us to get our money back with the amount of labors we would save with this new piece of equipment that we're recommending tonight? And that being if we choose to go with, and staff has chosen to go with the optical sorters, the rate of return on investment on that would be 9.6 years to take us to get our money back. And that's the total package, the 3.3 million. So we just didn't include the optical sorters, and that was, so to get our money back, it'd take about 9.6 years. Without optical sorters, it'd take about 15 years to get our money back for the $3.3 million that we spent.
It's a good thing it's going to last 10 years.
Sorry?
It's a good thing it's going to last 10 years.
Well, you know, we think it's going to be, this machine will be running strong in 10 or 12 years from now. This machine here that we have now lasted for 10 years, and we just think it's time to upgrade it. Cleaning and downtime is a savings of just cleaning the bags and stuff off the units, about $46,000 a year that we can save just in having the downtime and cleaning the bags. So, And because of that, when we looked at the wear of the equipment and where we thought we could be at in the years ahead, staff is recommending that we choose Machine X, which is the low bid also. They were the low bid out of the three. And we chose asking the board to allow us to move forward with Machine X. And I'll be glad to try to answer any questions.
Go ahead, Dan.
When we listened to the three presentations, I think they all three had some good information, some good equipment, and some points about where to position these machines so that they would give you the greatest working and help us with all of that. So if we go with one person, have we tried to incorporate all of that in, and that it will work even if we do that one person, to where they're going to position the machines and what they're going to do and how they're going to do that?
We not only listened to what, did interviews with the companies, the three companies when we're doing it, when we went out and visited, and I think that was one of the best things we did in this process is to go visit. We talked to the people that was actually running the machines and asked some of those same questions that you bringing up here tonight. What do we do here? How does this piece of machinery work? Where's it best suited at in your plant and all that stuff? We did all that with those things, and then when we came back, we had the companies to come in and give us pricing on how we thought those things would best fit in our plant.
But to broaden that same question, Van Dyke had a specific proposal about reversing the process. Did you see any elements in their presentation that made you want to go back and think about the presentation that Machine X made? Inquire about how they would have set up.
What they were doing was going to change the way the plastics run through the plant, not the whole system.
Right.
But the way the plastics, to reverse it, to come into it through a different way.
Did you see an advantage?
I did not. I thought it was money that we could better spend somewhere else rather than trying to move a whole room somewhere else. We tried to, when we looked at this thing, we said, we got X amount of dollars here, guys. So we got to find something that works the very best we can get it to work within those dollars. So there were some things we chose that, because of it fit, it worked, and it fit in our budget.
What about moving the optics up off in height to keep some of the debris down so you didn't have to clean the
All of the optics proposed were up in the air with the exception of CP. There was one of them down on the bottom. All of them was up in the air, 10, 12 foot, with the exception of CP, and their fiber sorter was down close to the ground.
I knew that it was a non-starter that Van Dyke told us they had an 8-month lead time, which really put them out of our plan of action, for one thing. But I really am curious about the members of the committee that made the site visits, if they couldn't tell us some of the things they learned in their reviews with respect to your recommendations.
We took those things, Mr. Ives, and went through them and looked at them, and Van Dyke did have some good pieces of equipment. Did not want to cut them short. They all had good equipment. They all had good ideas. We just think the Machine X was the best for the price amount of money we had.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. I made the trip with the staff, and the salesmen were not there. Our folks were dealing with the people that ran the equipment, and they asked a lot of questions. They gave us a lot of time. Rick Steddard, Mr. Cannon, and Mr. Bessent, they did a great job, and they brought back a lot of good information. And as he said, in talking with them on the way back, you know, some of the pros and cons, but they have researched this thing, and really, they've changed their mind about it, and they've done a great job.
One thing about traveling with the crew all in the same pickup truck, as Mr. Campbell saw, every time we left a place, we had an in-depth discussion about what we just saw and who liked what and who didn't. And for the next hour, hour and a half, you were discussing that going down the road.
Was Machine X your first pick before the presentations?
No.
Earlier this month?
No, they were not.
Interesting.
By the time we got done, when we first read our proposals, I can honestly say they were not. And by the time we went around and seen everybody, we sort of moved back in that direction.
Go ahead. No,
To change direction a little bit, what happens to our old equipment?
We own it.
What we gonna do with it?
Well, the V-screen, which is, they don't make them anymore, Richie wants to make a monument, and I told him he can.
The Horry County Museum.
Yeah, that's what, Richie wants to put it on a pedestal out front. But we will take a lot of those lines and use them elsewhere. We are considering, thought process, is to maybe use some of the lines that we take down on our C&D recycling facility and make it more better. So we will be using those lines and elsewhere to try to make something more efficient, or rather than a man moving it, we move it.
Well,
with
the
our conveyor.
V-screen is really the only thing that's unusable anywhere else, isn't it?
The new screen and the V-screen.
Did you see the OCC screen, the new generation, in operation?
Yes.
Did it clog up or anything, because it's got all them sharp points and stuff?
Which ones are you talking about? The CP or?
The OCC screen?
Okay. With the points on it, keep throwing it. Throws it farther, catches it, and throws it and moves it across the line a little bit better than the rounded edges.
Okay.
We did not see a lot of
What about wrapping?
wrapping with those.
Really? So the bags wouldn't get wrapped around them and stuff pretty
The
good?
shafts are so much bigger in them, they didn't do a lot of wrapping. And all the companies made their shafts bigger. It wasn't just one company. All of them made them bigger to try to stop the wrapping.
And you said it'd take 10 years to recoup our money
9.6 years,
based off of
labor savings.
labor savings?
Does it include anything to do with any maintenance costs we may save, or better product, or increased production? It's just about the labor.
To go back to what Norfleet asked about what's going to happen to our existing equipment, we had a plan of making the whole plant pristine, back to the condition it was in before we started taking loads from Charleston. Are we using our own staff to do the rest of the work that's going to be involved?
The rest of the conveyors that's left, we intend to rebuild it in-house, and we'll do that over the next 6 or 8 months. So by the time the equipment get here to be put in, then we would have it completely rebuilt. Our goal is, because we're going to be down about a month, to work our employees will be, we're going to have to try to keep them working for a month, and we would repaint the inside, the plant itself. So we would clean the plant and repaint it while after they took all their stuff off of it, we would refurbish the rest of the plant with repaint and make it look new.
Some of their work could be done before we shut the plant down, like you could run the conduit overhead even while the plant's operating.
There'll be a lot of stuff done as the plant's operating. They'll probably build most of they'll send it in parts, and they'll assemble it outside while they're working, and then when the plant shuts down, they'll come in and try to put the plant back together, take it apart, put it back together.
You're not saying that we're gonna be down for 30 straight days?
We anticipate anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 to 4 weeks downtime. Consecutively. Now, we will still be accepting material. You gotta remember, we got that little short line over to the side, so we're gonna be processing paper through that short line. So all of our cardboard, paper, stuff like that we can run through that line, we'll run it, process it, bale it, do all that stuff with, and then the rest of the material we will bale, store it, and then when the plant gets back up, we'll put it back into the plant.
And the MSW and everything will still be going in the landfill?
Yeah.
So it's just what we're just talking about, certain recyclables?
Recyclables, yes, ma'am.
Okay, that was the other thing, was that if that old equipment could help us at a point with continuing to process that while all of this is
Yeah.
working out.
We even thought about it one time, maybe even taking the C&D facility and try to run some of it with the C&D facility. We'll be looking at all those options to run as much of it as we can, but we got that sort line already there. It's operating with a baler hooked to it. So we're gonna run all of our cardboard we get in, all of our newspaper we get in. We're gonna run it, bale it, sort it, do what we need to do and get that much of it off thing. It'll leave about 1,600 tons to bale
Where are you going to store the material that you're collecting in the meantime?
in our storage facility you allowed us to build. And of course, in the tipping floor area, we'll be putting in the tipping floor area and other places.
Go ahead. Don't flick.
I was just waiting to see if there weren't any more questions. I was
Yeah.
gonna make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation on Machine X.
It's been properly moved in second. Are there any other questions? All those in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion's carried. You can get started.
Well, we'll be negotiating the contract with them over the next, soon as,
That's a starting point, right?
that's the starting point.
That means you don't have to come back. You,
That's right. We good to go. Thank you too, very much.
Thank you for your hard work and dedication to this project.
Work just started.
all right, we ready to move on? We got new business, some round table discussion, and we're gonna spend a little bit of time that we got left, the rest of the afternoon. Since we don't have to go to county council, we can just stay here the rest of the afternoon.
Send the waitress by here.
Yeah, okay. The conferences. Esther sent out, I think, Bo, you asked in the last meeting about the conferences, and we sent out a schedule sometime, I don't remember, it's been a week or so, and we've asked you to look at those, and I met with her and kind of went through the budget, and we had people call in and say which ones they wanted. So we want to try to finalize what's going on so that we'll know where folks are going at this point in time. Right now, we have an account balance at the end of December was for traveling and lodge and conferencing was like $21,000, about $22,000. And for actual registration fees and per conference per persons, we had about $8,300. So that gives us roughly $30,000, so to speak. Some of these conferences are fairly expensive. I went through the list, and we'll start with the list. If you got your list in front of it, the February conference 24-26, that was in Orlando. We had one person that said that they wanted to go, and we spoke to Mike on yesterday, and he said, well, if it was just one person going, he chose not to go. So we crossed Orlando off. Nobody wanted to go to Boston, so I asked Carl if he would go there. And Carl sent a quick answer back saying he didn't want to go anywhere but to Charleston and somewhere. So
I lived there for 3 years, and I lived through some.
so I couldn't get anybody to go to
They
Boston.
don't have a warrant on you there, do they, Carl?
No, they don't.
So we,
If you put a turn signal on and you're traveling on
so-
the highway in Boston, they'll make sure you're not going to make it in
so
that
since
lane.
we didn't have anybody going to Boston, we kept that money. We crossed Boston off. The next one was the 18th of March, and that's the Carolina Recycling Association Conference. And just about everybody, I thought, that's a very good conference. That's the one.
You went to.
I went to the one in Cherokee.
Cherokee last year.
And it was a good conference, and I thought it was good because it incorporates a lot of locals. It has a lot of staff, and I did talk to Esther about that. We'll probably have a lot of staff there, and that'll be good because when I was there, DHEC was there, a lot of staff were there, a lot of people was looking for Esther. It's good communication, they get good information, they get good exchange, and so we'll have a lot of staff. And right now that I have going to Charleston is myself, Mike, Carl, Bo, I assume, Pam. Norfleet's not going. Sam? It's March
Undecided.
18th through the 21st.
Not decided.
Okay, Sam's not going. So, okay, so we got that list. So March is is the Carolina Recycling Association Conference. Most of us will be attending that one. The next conference is, the Waste Expo Conference in Las Vegas. And that's May 6th and 9th. And I think, Pam, you said that you had an interest in going.
A lot of sessions on aerobics. What? A lot of session on anaerobics.
Yeah, a lot
Oh, I
of
thought you
anaerobic.
said aerobics.
I saw a lot of anaerobics in there,
Yeah,
on that.
I saw a lot of diversion
I
and
saw
new
some-
diversion technology. I really read a lot of the stuff they had.
Yeah,
And as the diversion committee has not traveled in the last couple of years, I think we've kind of fallen down on looking at new technology and diversion techniques. And I think we need to do that because we're going to have to be very innovative in what we can do.
yeah.
So I'd really like to go to that.
I don't have any problems with that. I think, Mike, you said you wanted to go since you
Yeah.
wouldn't be going by yourself.
Right.
So I stuck Mike on there, and Norfleet, I see Norfleet has his hand up. Okay, so now, we got 3 people. Anybody else wanting to go to Las Vegas? Okay. Paulie's, those people who are going to Las Vegas will miss that because I think it's at the same time.
It is.
Okay? So that takes us, I'm going to, Carl's going, I'm going, Bo, you going to Paulie's?
Yes.
How about you?
I'll be a Polish.
And Sam? Okay. And I had no takers for Atlantic City, and I didn't ask anybody to go, because with the new chairman, he may think we're up there playing the slot machines or something like that, so I
Well, we
figured,
probably spend it all in Vegas.
yeah. And all those people coming back from Vegas, you know I like pictures, because I took pictures for Pam, so y'all bring us back a good report, and so pictures. No, you
Both, you can do a written and a visual.
yeah, either one, whichever is better for you,
Before we go, the visual part gonna be broke.
The more embarrassing, the better.
yeah.
Thought what happens in Vegas stays in
Listen,
Vegas.
all I want to know about is the equipment. Whatever else y'all do, it stays out there, okay?
There you go.
You can leave that out there.
In Vegas
So
stays.
we got our Las Vegas people, and so those are the conferences that we will attend.
We got Phoenix.
And Phoenix is in the new budget cycle. So we've got time, to deal with Phoenix.
Did you Sam, you said for Charleston, you hadn't decided yet, right?
Correct.
Okay, I thought you said he wasn't going.
Oh,
Thought you
okay, all right.
misunderstood him.
You-
Undecided.
Okay, well,
Undecided.
we went in and booked your room anyway. So, you let us know if
Okay.
you become undecided, then we can get rid of that reservations. Because, I think that's a good conference. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, one of the things we all need to remember is that if we book this ahead, it costs us less money.
Yeah, that's
Esther
why-
gets
yeah.
in on there, so everybody needs to let everybody know ahead of time.
Okay.
So it will cost less anyway. There's a
Yeah,
cutoff
as soon
date
as you
for
know,
that.
and that's why I want to get it done this time. And we were right, we just did catch Charleston in the nick of time, because they were pretty much full up. So we got them, and she knows now who's going to Las Vegas, so we can get that done. We can get Paulie's done, and we'll be good. That way, we do not have to change the 22nd meeting. February 22nd, we do not have to change it. It can stay at the regular time since we don't have anybody going to Orlando.
This was ideal to give us a complete list so that we could choose our calendar for the year. So
Well, you had to
thank
choose. I couldn't send
Thank
all
you
y'all
for
to Las
putting-
Vegas because we didn't have any money.
Thank you for putting this together. This was helpful.
Yeah. We didn't have enough money to send everybody to Vegas. You know, I've traveled enough. I'll stay close to home. That's one of the executive privileges you get, to quote Trump. So you know I'm digressing, I'm starting quoting Trump.
That's a good quote, now, come on.
I don't have to go. I can let the committee members go. And that's good, because I got two people that are on the diversion committee that's going, and you do a lot, you're on the recycling.
Pretty bad when you're
side.
digressing to
Yeah,
speak with the President of the United States. It's a digression.
Yeah, boy, I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna leave that one alone. You're not gonna sucker me into that one. So that's who we got. That's where we are. Any other concerns about that? I got something else that I need to pass out. We've got the Walker Memorial Conference. That's on
February 9th.
February 9th. Bo, you're gonna be there.
Yes.
I'm gonna be there. I think we're gonna have a table there. So if you want to show up, that's the information. I think this was sent out, I think Esther sent it out to you already. So,
If you're going to Vegas, you got to go to this one too.
yeah, that's a good idea, Danny. If you still want to go to Vegas, I expect to see you on February 9th. And don't forget,
We
also.
can afford this one, too.
Yeah, you can afford this one, yeah. The boy and I'll be there. You'll enjoy this one. I don't know how much information you get, but it'll be good. Also, don't forget, that's the same weekend of the home show. So if you want tickets, you need to let Esther know that whether or not you want to go. And you can't go on Saturday. You'll have to either go on Friday or Sunday, because we expect to see you here on, just kidding. All right, what else? Anything else?
This is new business. I just
Okay.
wanted to say that one of my pastimes is shopping. And I talk to a lot of people about plastic and paper bags, and there are an awful lot of retail stores that are now using up their plastic bags and are going to paper.
Oh, that's great.
Also, H&M, which is a store in the mall and in the Tanger outlets, their January promotion is if you bring one piece or ever how many pieces of recyclable clothes into them, they'll give you certificates for 15% off your entire purchase. They also are finishing their plastic bags and they're going to paper. So I can't tell you how many places in this area are actually doing this on their own to do that. And what I did was get some of their brochures, and I want to give these to Esther, because when we have a recycling meeting, I think we need to start putting these people's name that are actually doing this on their own and going from plastic to paper and recycling clothes and giving discounts. I think these people are being very upfront and responsible in what they're doing and making a difference. And I think at some point, as the Solid Waste Authority, we have not even had to go out and ask these people to do this. They're doing it on their own. So it has saved us a call. And I just think that when we find people like this, they need to be recognized.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that a lot of people are moving into the area or used to it. And I think it's a good time when you talk about putting mandates on plastics. A lot of people are coming here that are used to that.
Yeah, they've
It's
lived with it
it's
for
mostly
decades.
locals who have not been under that gun, but a lot of people are used to that. and-
Kroger's
and
put
they-
out their
yeah,
statement of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it was so refreshing in Nashville
yeah.
to hear about the other companies that are, Procter & Gamble, that made their
Mm-hmm,
presentation of what they're doing
Yeah.
positively is
Yeah.
just fantastic.
Well, I think that was one of the things Pam always said, we got to get the manufacturers involved.
We
Those are
have
the
to
people,
get the
yeah.
manufacturers involved, and we have to get the people they sell to involved. And in our recycling meetings, I really, even if we put it in a list and it's shown on our website, the people that are doing this, or have a list of it when we have our TV commercials, or to just say, these people are choosing to help us meet our 40% goal of recycling. We need to talk to the Chamber of Commerce. We might even get another grant from them doing this, to work with people to do that, but I just think they really need to be recognized and people need to know it.
Well, I think that's a good idea, to show them when we do our, advertisement, to say, these people are doing this, whether it's, yeah, that's great, yeah.
We had our
Go ahead, Bill.
Horry County Beautiful meeting this morning. We had an update that North Myrtle Beach is proceeding ahead on their anti-plastic ban. So that's great news.
Yeah.
And it looks likely.
Good.
A 3-year transition.
Okay, we don't have a
Question.
need, go ahead.
Whether there's any further communication with Charleston, I'd hate that our last letter was just not to respond to our request.
You're asking what now?
Whether there's been any further communication.
Oh,
with
yeah,
Charleston.
we talk to them just about weekly, yeah, that, and Mike has told them, you know, through the course of this thing, if, he can work with them anyway, we'd be more than happy to work with them, and, you know, the further down that line they come is the more they communicate with us, but, sometimes they don't know exactly what I was going on either. So we've been communicating with
Good.
them.
Good.
No, we leave it on.
I didn't want them to think that was a take it or leave it proposition, and I wanted to make sure there was still a rapport with.
Yeah, we made
Thank
sure we understood when they said no, that, is anything else we can do to help them.
Good.
But we just couldn't put a half a shift on.
One last thing, even though we said that Phoenix is in the new budget year, kind of peruse it and look at it and see if you have any interest, so we'll know up front about how many people we're looking at may want to go out to Phoenix. That way we can get that information to Esther up front.
Yeah, we need to go ahead and do that.
We need to go ahead and look at that and just go ahead and figure that in.
You put me down as a no for Phoenix.
Or I had you already down for a no. I'm just kidding.
Been there, done that, don't need to do it again.
Okay, we got one no, so we know we got one no. So we'll look at that, but if you look at it, let us know, and we'll go ahead and get that into the works. No need for executive session. Anything else for the good of the order?
5 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock on the 26th.
Who?
What time for a meeting on the 26th?
22nd.
22nd, isn't it?
February
What's February meeting?
26th.
At same time, regular time, because nobody's going to Orlando, so we don't have to change that time frame. Anything else? Okay, we'll call this meeting adjourned.
So be it.